welcome, trolls. First sees all.
Hi and welcome everybody. My name is Bruce Swartz. I'm an amateur astronomer. I'll leave that in. Anyways, I do infrared. I have a large telescope, 14-inch telescope, and not just any 14-inch telescope, a Celestron 14-inch telescope. Let's look at directional change with a second generation infrared camera. Did you see that? We're going to look at that in great detail. Take our time, and I want you to see what we are actually looking at. 4 years into this, 5th year of research coming up, my friends. Check it out. Right there. A swoosh upwards. A UFO changes directions. And it crosses path with another UFO. So, talking about satellites. Do you think satellites are going to cross paths and turn? No. And you think satellites are going to be that close? No. Probably not. They wouldn't risk having them hit, obviously. Of course, they could be at different heights or levels. Doesn't matter, we saw directional change. We're going to look at it this way, front and backwards, as I go frontwards and backwards, so you see it a couple of times. I want you to understand that one on the right is swooshing around, the light coming downwards. It's literally turning paths. It's going from left to right here. Watch this. And then it's going to go from down to up. Literally goes upwards and swooshes around this UFO coming down. And don't forget, the satellites, I would assume when we see satellites that would be very far away, it would be the small ones that we're seeing. The ones that are very close to the house flashing. Here it is again, back and forth. It absolutely intrigues me seeing it like that, swooshing by it really close. We're also going to continue to study the orbs and the rod phenomenon, my friends. Let it be known it's bullshit because it's a long exposure shot. If you look on Wikipedia, look up rod phenomenon. It's a long exposure shot they have of a stupid moth going around making lines. The same thing would happen with my hands. But the thing is, this is not long exposure and it's infrared. The rod phenomenon is not infrared.
Let's see if I take the cover off. Is it still too bright? There's a nice clear shot. And that's with the cover off. But again, the sun is behind a cloud. So when you get the image is too bright, you're going to have to put the cover back on. That's what that little pinhole is used for in the cover.
E.T. phone.
Getting carried away, you say? No, I'm having fun. Infrared, you can even cook with infrared. Did you know that? Really weird. That's my arm. And watch how with a different IR intensity here, I'm going to change it up. You can actually see the veins. I mean, big guy I am. I don't see my veins. I'm too big. But with infrared, you can see right through the skin, right? You can see through certain layers, with the infrared camera. We're going to see some bugs, what they look like outside. There you go. So those are more of a mosquito type of bug. And of course, it's daytime. We're just going to do some comparisons to see exactly what the infrared sees. So good news, it catches the little objects really clearly. But at night when I'm pointing straight up into the sky, I don't think the mosquitoes are up over my house, especially now I'm not near any woods and everything. I'll be definitely doing tests. We'll be filming moths. And I prove to you they're not making lights and trails, This is in the day. I brought the exposure completely down. We are seeing some similarities with some of the orbs that we get at night. Not really many orbs, but then again, we're in focus. I'm going to try when I see the orbs to get them in focus. Maybe we're seeing an orb because that object is out of focus. Obviously, it's focused on the tree right now with the exposure taken down. But yeah, you can see some of the... Now here, what you're looking at, you're seeing very small bugs, and you're also seeing maybe some bees, but you're seeing pollen. And the pollen They're pretty big pieces. They're about the size of nickels, and they're flying by like that. No, that's a bug. Sorry, you see it on the bottom there, flying by real slow. Here, more you can see it with the inversion. That's the pollen there, the big white ones that are not going in straight lines. But the orb that I got yesterday at night is going in a straight line. It was by itself. It wasn't just a spontaneous light either. But either way, we're going to be doing some tests. A lot of experiments in this video. Some UFOs, a bit of everything, my friends. So we're going to go see a couple of cool things, even some wild geese going by Venus at night, very late, with the infrared camera. So we're seeing a UFO doing some flashing. What's a UFO? It's an unidentified flying object, and that's exactly what we're looking at. Whether they're satellites or not, I'm sort of getting tired of lingering about that, but yet we hear our trolls just, they can pray that it's satellites, so good for them. Watch this. With the 1080p, obviously now I'm seeing different shapes and forms depending on how clear the night is. Always depending on how clear the night is. I really like this one, seeing it break apart. It could even be two objects. Let's look at it a bit closer, and we'll look at it again with the inversion. Check it out. It's going to be pretty cool. Those are nice captures, details. That's what we want to see, right? We want to see things breaking apart. We want to see what exactly is going on. We could almost swear that there's two objects there, right? We'll see here again, a couple of other filters. So this is inversion, first step of inversion, my inversion, and this is second step where you could see the independent objects or just object that looks like it's coming apart or turning. Love it right here, straight up, no filter, looking at that object coming down with the tones and lights taken down just a little bit. And here, a different character, orb, we have to say, that you just saw. Not necessarily a UFO, but it is a UFO. It's unidentified. Wild geese going by beside Venus, and here's a UFO that was not following them, but that was right behind them. And here it is going by Venus. Some cool captures that we're getting with the infrared camera. I'll be doing a lot more tests, that's for sure. So sorry for having gotten the video up so late this evening, and thanks everybody for taking the time to subscribe, the ongoing contributions. Now, what do you guys think of this? Satellites don't cross paths like that, that's for sure. They'd probably run into each other. They're more independent, and they're definitely not crossing an X's like that. Like one after the other, that's for sure. You go online to see which satellites are going by, and I deliberately do it when there's no satellites, or when there are, I go outside. And so here again, different sizes, right? So that's what I like seeing, because look at how far away or how small that one is on the left. Yet, watch what it's going to do. It's going to get brighter, and it's going to flash. Watch this. Here's one object on the right. There's actually another one that's appearing on the left. So they're sort of following each other. Not one behind each other, but sort of offset. But yeah, one behind the other. And we saw that one flash right there on the bottom. And, I like analyzing them like that. So, of course, amongst all these captures, we're going to get some satellites. But the ones that I'm talking to and that are flashing me and that I'm responding to, nah. They ain't satellites. But then again, it's just my opinion. Solar panels, adjustments. Trolls, when they adjust the panels, they go dim. They don't go bright. And the flaring is not supposed to exist anymore. Here's a mother fast one going by over top of the house. You're going to see go by there with another pretty incredible fast moving UFO, a really cool capture. And I was following that one there, the slow one. And look here, right over top of those, there's two there. So you understand there is a lot in the sky. When Elon Musk lets go these satellites, guys and gals, okay, they go up in orbit, and the train separates, like you see here, for example. They'll separate themselves, but you're not going to see them every bloody day for the rest of the year. Once they go up in orbit, bye-bye. They're gone. And there hasn't been a launch for a while here again, and now we're seeing still, and hang on, this one's going towards the States, so, face to face, literally northeast, west, south, northeast, every angle, okay? We see the satellites going by. Here's again pretty close crossing by each other, and a flash. Let's look at that flash close. Do you notice the flash? The characteristics of it? It's curved. I like seeing that. Something turned. It could also be UFO propulsion. Yes, UFO propulsion. We're going to see them taking off, right? Antimatter reactor. When matter and antimatter touch each other, when they collide, forms light, right? Thanks for taking the time to subscribe, everyone, for the generous contributions, for the ongoing support, the comments, which I'm going to answer tomorrow. Thanks so much. I'm long overdue to answer the comments. We'll be looking at some orbs also as we go through the year now, doing some comparisons, both summer and winter, filming moths to see if they look like these orbs. We'll be doing some tests. Thanks, everyone. Aliens are gone.